I had a situation with a subscriber a couple weeks ago that was just heartbreaking. Let me explain. So I'm definitely not gonna say who this subscriber was, but they were in the comment section on a Ben Lista video, just asking me some questions, and I found out that they're actually from India and a male, and of course we know that men do get lupus, but it's more rare and it's pretty serious when they do get it. So he was telling me about his situation and explaining that he's being maintained only on, I think it was Plaquenil, steroids, and I believe mycophenolate. I could be wrong. It might have just been Plaquenil and steroids. I think he was taking mycophenolate as well, though, if I remember correctly. So he was still having a lot of joint pain, enough that it was just bothering him so much to private message me about this. And I just tried to advocate for him. So I'm like, that's weird. Maybe you need to find a new rheumatologist. But, before you go that route, let's just, see what the deal is. Because it's the Middle East. It's a different country. I don't know how they do things over there. There might be reasons why, like maybe the medication wasn't available. Well, I called OptumRx. I don't know why looking back on this, hindsight is 2020. It was probably not too bright for me to call OptumRx because they are the specialty pharmacy that delivers the medication. Well, what I didn't realize is that OptumRx only operates in the United States. So even in Europe, like in Italy, because I was calling at the same time, I asked him some questions for my own situation since I had them on the phone anyway. And they informed me that, it's a different specialty pharmacy in Italy, and depends on what country you're in and what part of that country and everything. So anyway, long story short, I get OptumRx on the phone. They explain this to me, and they give me the number for GlaxoSmithKline, the manufacturer of the drug. So I call them. Then I explain to them the situation, that I have this channel and I'm trying to advocate for one of my subscribers. And so they got me over to an international office that's based out of India, I believe. And they explained to me, like, listen, this drug is not available in India at all. So I did a little digging, and it turns out there's a lot of places that drugs like Safnilo and Benlysta are not available in, period. So I found a form 6-K, on sec.gov for the United States Securities and Exchange Commission since December of 2020. Benlysta has been approved for active lupus nephritis by 16 regulatory bodies, obviously including the United States Food and Drug Administration. Around the world, in 60 different countries for systemic lupus, and approved and available for systemic lupus and lupus nephritis in more than 25 countries. More than 25? I mean, that's not really a lot. This bothers me. This bothers me because it takes so long for us to get new lupus medications and options on the market to begin with. And then if you happen to just live in a part of the world where they're not making these medications available for whatever reason, then you're kind of just screwed. So I just wanted to bring some attention to this because I don't really see anybody talking about it. It's kind of interesting. I think that regardless of where people are from, what part of the world they're in, what color skin they are, what gender they are, it doesn't fucking matter. When it comes to this particular issue, this really bothered me a lot. And I had to go back to the subscriber and tell him, listen, I got a hold of the drug company, the manufacturer, and they informed me that this drug is just not available in your country. And it's not just this drug, it's Safnilo, it's really a lot of the biologics. Now, interestingly, Rituximab has been available in India since the year 2000. The National Health Institute is where I found that information on their website, and was not approved for use in autoimmune disease, basically RA, until 2006. So this was initially a cancer drug when it first came out. Safnilo released in the United States, Japan, Canada. So those are the countries that it has been approved in. Regulatory reviews are ongoing in additional countries. So that was on AstraZeneca's website. So even for Safnilo, now I know this is a very new drug, but you're talking about only 3 countries, the United States, Japan, and Canada? No, I'm not sure about this, because here's the thing. It was very hard to find information about this. Like, it was easier to find information about where these drugs are available than where they're not available, if that makes sense. So trying to get a list of every country in which these biologic medications are not available is very difficult and would literally take me days probably to sift through a bunch of information. It would be insane. So I'm just doing my best to provide you guys with the most accurate information. I'm sure, I don't really know, I'm not sure if Safnilo is available on the European market. I would imagine that it would be, but maybe it hasn't gone that far yet. So on AstraZeneca's site, all I saw was US, Japan, and Canada. But this is what we're dealing with, and I think that we all have to advocate for each other in this situation. We're all in this together. I had to tell this guy, like, look, I'm really sorry, but basically because of the country you're in, you can't get the proper treatment. Like, you can't, like, I didn't even know it was hard to find the words, and I ended up putting it in a way that kind of almost sounded a little bit cold, because I just didn't know what to say. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but Benlyst is just not available in India. And it bothered me. I don't know. You guys, it really bothered me. I mean, I'm doing this channel for this reason, for things like this. And I'm always hoping that when I get a message like this, that I can help the person. It's just heartbreaking when there's nothing I can do. So I figured the only thing I can do is come on here and bring some more awareness to this particular situation. I'm sure there's many more places than India where the proper treatments are not available for these diseases. And I mean, if you have active lupus and you're still having symptoms like really bad joint pain on mycophenolate and Plaquenil and steroids, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And, I remember when I had to be hospitalized because I was taking just Plaquenil and steroids, and they had to give me such a high dose because they weren't treating aggressively enough, just keep giving you steroids. And I ended up with a low white count. Now that's interesting because I'm on all these immune suppressants now. I've been on Plaquenil, mycophenolate, and Benlysta, Plaquenil, mycophenolate, and Safnilo. Now I'm doing Plaquenil, azathioprine, and Benlysta, and I've never had a problem with my white count being low. So I just don't think steroids are a good long-term option. I really don't. They stress the adrenals, the endocrine system. They can cause bone density problems. There's all kinds of problems that they don't tell you about. They make your face swell. You can end up with weight problems while you're taking them. Water retention, bloating, the moon face. So we all love that. They'll really mess up your mood. They can cause psychiatric problems. Do me a favor. if you're not familiar with this, or you've ever been given long-term steroids, look up the actual side effects of long-term steroid use, because one of them is literally psychosis. And I'm telling you right now, me and a number of other lupus patients that I know that have previously taken long-term steroids have had serious mood issues while on the steroids and for weeks after. I mean, it took a while. I am psychotic on steroids. I am not fit for being around other humans when I'm on steroids, and I'm generally pretty laid back normally. So I don't recommend. They'll mess your hormones up. Like, I remember every time I took long-term steroids, I had more problems with my thyroid. I mean, well, if they're messing with your endocrine system, they're messing with your adrenals, it only makes sense. It's a chain reaction. So, not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. Anyway, stay strong, guys. That was just my intention for this video. And let me know in the comment section if you're in one of these countries where you're not able to get adequate enough treatment for your disease, and what medications do you see us talking about on the channel that are not maybe available to you, so that hopefully I can make more videos about this and bring more awareness to this situation. All right, stay strong, guys. Have a good weekend.